on the pitch, yeah, the pressure is rising. One goal away and we're all synchronizing. Hard on the beat like a strike in the box. Unstoppable rhythm that never will stop. Let the game begin, let the whistle blow. We got that lo-fi heat in the studio. Spinning the ball, yeah, we're ready for the show. Kick it to the limit and we let it go. Smooth with the transition, gliding on the air. Master of the movement, look at how we flare. Cooler than the ice, but the fire is still there. Top of the league, yeah, we're sitting in the chair.
My God, my mic has been on mute and I've been talking all this while. Jesus Christ, help me. My mic had been on mute and I've been talking, and I was like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Why am I not able to hear the thing back?" All right, let me start again. All right, so what's up, people? How you guys doing? Welcome to the show. I basically just wanted to do like a show today. I was just going to do a general, um, like what Arsenal's future holds, stuff like that. Like, so what can we expect from this club right now? What can we expect from the Arsenal team? Maybe hop on a little bit of Bukayo Saka's documentary story. Talk a little bit about that. I haven't seen it. I saw a clip that where he arrived at his own premiere, and I was like, okay, that's interesting that he's got his own documentary. Being that he's been at Arsenal since he was 7, that would be an interesting documentary into the insight of one of our very own players. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about what I think, where I think Arsenal will be headed in the next few years. Interestingly, I think the transfer window gives us an insight into the kind of direction that this Arsenal team wants to go. We're talking about like the attack, for example. We're looking at the people that were linked to, the rumors that were linked to them tells me that this club wants to go a notch higher. If those are the caliber of players that we're going to get, and if we get those players, then definitely we should be up and running next season. We all know how football is. It doesn't matter if you are the favorite now. The way it is now, we know the league is really, really tough. There's a lot of stats from last season that shows us that the league is really tough. There's been many 0-0 draws. There's been many 1-0 wins. It's harder to beat teams. Teams can sit in low blocks. Managers are very, very good now. From like the Thomas Franks and the Areolas, these are all good managers. Brighton's manager, Fabian Hessler, I don't know how to pronounce his name properly, but there's so many good managers. Now we've got Maresca coming back again, but this time around to Man City. So it's going to be a competitive league next season. But if you look at the transfers that we're looking at doing, that's interesting to me. And it means that we're looking at being serious. We're looking at, strengthening while we are at the top. I had a couple of chats with friends who support other clubs, and there's a few of my friends who level-headedly we can always just chat about our clubs and talk about the clubs without banter. And one of them I was chatting with this morning, and we were just talking about, and I said it. I was telling him that the reason his club City, the reason City did not win the league is because of the 2 draws that they had in their last 5 games, or the reason they could not push us to the last day of the league was those 2 draws. And that's on City. That's not on Arsenal because we won all our 5 games. And I think that now that we've gotten the Premier League over the line, I kind of feel, this is my personal feeling, that the players are going to play with a little more freedom, in the sense that they don't have this season. I think we played all our games not to lose. We knew we were going to be able to score, and you could hear it even when the players had interviews. You would hear Arsenal players say things like, on our day we can beat any team. For me, that's confidence of saying on your day, you know, you can score against any team and win the game. But their approach to the game was always, we don't want to lose the game. We know we can always create something and score. And that was how we approached last season, to get it over the line. Because again, if we had come second, it would be really difficult to motivate this group of players next season. So kudos to the boys, kudos to Mikel Arteta, for getting it over the line. I think that we've seen Arteta play free flowing attacking football in 22-23. We saw a bit of it in 23-24 in the second half of the season, where we played 16 games and went on a mad run. I think 24-25 was where we started to see the I know people like to use negative terms like regressive football, no, but where we started to see the defensive football proper, even though we saw defensive football in 2023-24. 24-25 was when we really saw like the defensive structure of Arsenal and for what it was. Even with the injuries, we ended up still being second, and City could not even catch up to us with all the reinforcements that they did. And then, of course, this year we employed the same controlling defensive football and just went on to, you know, get it over the line. So I think that going forward next season, interestingly for me, it would be that we would play more free-flowing football. We've mastered our defensive structure. I think people don't realize that 2 or 3 seasons back to back now, Arsenal has had the best defense, even when we were coming second. And we've also broken certain records back to back in those 2 seasons, where we had the most corner kicks scored 2 seasons ago, with 16, and then we broke it this season with 18. And I think people are not looking at those little fine margins and those little things to see exactly how we can improve on them next season. I'm not saying we're going to be scoring corners next season, but I'm saying we've mastered that act. We scored 16 2 seasons ago. We scored 18 last season, which means we know how to do that. I think they will work on other things as a team, which is, you know, quicker passes, quicker transitions, counter attacks. The players who play with a little more freedom and oomph, no fear of, oh, we have to win the league this year. Yes, we have to, but we're not afraid because we've just won it. You know, if we hadn't won it, then it's a case of we can't lose this season again. So I'm excited about next season. I think that Arsenal is going to really, really, really go up a notch. If we are getting players like what's his name again from Atletico Madrid, Julian Alvarez, if those are the kind of players that we're going for, that if those are the caliber of players that we're going for, then I think we're on track to be able to do something really great. So yeah, let me know what you think in the chat. Like the video, share, subscribe as well while you're here. If you have any questions, just throw it in the chat, man. If you're here and you're live with me, just throw your questions in the chat so I can answer them. But yeah, I think we are about to start something special at Arsenal. I think we're about to start something special, and I look at the ownership. I look at the way they're recruiting. Even in the they've become ruthless. There was a story that I saw a story online. If I'm not mistaken, he is Arsenal backroom staff, who got fired for doing something. But anyways, I don't want to get into politics of what he said, but he got fired after working there for 22 years. Like, they're ruthless in the background, basically. Like, they're changing staff, they're bringing in better people, they're bringing in more qualified people. I think that this club is about to start something special. And for me, that's a good thing. It's a good place to be. It's a good place to have conversations where big teams like Real Madrid are saying, we want one of your players, we want Calafiori. That's a conversation I've always wanted this club to be in. That's a competition I've always wanted us to have. Have players that the bigger teams want, players who they feel like can take them up a notch, even though those players play for Arsenal already. You wouldn't have seen that a few years ago. I mean, even Bournemouth last season had players that Real Madrid wanted. We didn't. On the contrary, we were getting Real Madrid's players that they didn't want. And so that change in narrative is important is an important little factor that most people are not looking at. And I just enjoy, those are the things that intrigue me about the club. Is we've seen steady growth over the last 3-4 seasons. And that steady growth has now accumulated in a Champions League final where we lost on penalties, very painful, very, very painful, but also accumulated in a Premier League, which is good, which is good. So we've got a Premier League now. We lost on penalties in the Champions League. I think we'll be back again. There are no guarantees. Let's not do, I don't do there's guarantees, but if we give ourselves the best chance to make it to the final again, I think we will be able to do something different. Would realize that if we're 1-0 up, we need to go kill the game at that point. We're not going to be afraid to lose the game. Again, I think this is what I think in the Premier League, in the Champions League. I think we were afraid to lose that Champions League because we've never won one before. And I think once you get that hood off your back, if you can just go for it and win one, the next time you're in the final, you're not going to feel that way. You'd feel like I've already done this before. I can. There's a way to get this done. But if you've never done it, I can understand the fear of not losing. But yeah, I feel like we are on track to do something great. I'm positive about it. But like there's just too many things that are falling into place and falling in line. You know, and I have my own preferences, but I always, at this stage, I have to trust what the club wants to do. As a fan, I just have to be able to sit there and trust them and say, hey, you wanted Noni Madueke. I didn't want Noni Madueke, but you got it over the line with Noni Madueke. That's crazy. So that means I got it wrong. So I would love to just say I'm going to trust the club to bring in the right people. But I think the position that we're in now is such a good one. It's such a good position where we can attract bigger and better players now. You know, not like we couldn't before, but because we hadn't won anything major, it was hard. You know, those players want something major to be able to say, look, okay, we see the goal, we see what you're doing. And you know, now that we've won the Premier League, I think that's going to open those kind of doors and those conversations. Yo, what's up? Yeah, if you guys have any questions, just throw it in the chat. I'm open to answer your questions. I just wanted to do a stream where I'm just going to be talking about what I think, you know, the next few years will hold for Arsenal. My belief for next season is that they should go strong for the Champions League. I think we should just close our eyes and be like, this is one of the on the priority list. It should be Champions League, Premier League, and then all the other trophies. And that's how it should be for Arsenal next season. There should be a concentration on, you know, how to win the Champions League, and take some learnings from what we did this season, you know, and keep our fingers crossed with a little bit of luck again, which is let's hope that we can top the group again. Let's hope that we can get that done and get a favorable, you know, run to the final as well, like we had this year, and just be able to try and take that advantage. Like nobody cares once you win it, you know. So that should be the goal for next season. That's my goal for next season. That's what I would, if I were the manager, that would be what I'd prioritize. And of course, I'd prioritize the league as well. But like I said, if I had a Champions League semi-final game and I have a league game at the weekend, and I can still push the league till the last day of the season, I'm probably win it on points. I will rest players for the league and just go for the Champions League with my best players and tell them go all out and get the win. You know, I would literally lean that scale that way, because that's the one trophy that we don't have in our cabinet. And if we do get that one trophy, it gets that monkey off our back. It makes it easier for us to be able to then, you know, of course, in the future, go on to win more games. But it also makes it easier to banter people. When they start talking, you can be like, oh, well, I can sing it now. I'll be able to sing Champions of Europe too when I win it. So, you know, that's the goal for next season for me. That would be my what I would set as a target for the team, what I would set as a target for the manager. And I must say I'm thoroughly happy about where we're at right now. I like the way we're moving. I like the players that we're linked to. Sorry, excuse me. That's coffee. And I'm going to drink water. Yeah. Oof. I don't know why my throat keeps getting dry. I think it's all this talking that I'm doing. So I'm saying, like, you know, I like the players we're linked to. I like where we're at right now as a club. I like the fact that we've been able to at least get that 14th league title as part of our as part of our trophy cabinet. And I think that the most important thing again is, strengthen while we're strong. Let's get better, better players in. You know what? The Evra, yes, I got to talk about that, man. That Evra video. Now that's peak banter. I like that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with him doing the banter with the Champions League trophy, one shoe on one bare feet, and doing the crazy dance everywhere. Now that's peak banter. I'll take that peak banter any day. At least I can understand when someone does banter that way and he's not there making up lies. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not making up stories or making up information to be able to say, oh, this is why you guys will never win it. No, he's just making fun of us that we don't have it. And fair enough. I'll take the banter. I'll take that banter any day. It was hilarious when I saw it. I even saw the fact that he had what's it called? That he had only one shoe on. I'm like, man, like what? And yes, you're right. Like with the players, right? When they see that type of banter, it drives them. I believe strongly that this group of Arsenal players are driven more by, like, the passion and the love for the club, and the fear of failure was what was driving them. But now it's the taste of winning that would be driving them. If you hear these guys talk, you would be like, yo, the taste of winning, is different from the fear of failure. The last season we're afraid to lose this league. Let's play conservative football, controlling football. Let's go out there and just get the point and let's just move on. Now you've got the taste of winning, and you're like, okay, all that banter that you used to do, I'm not going to let you be able to banter me anymore. I'm going to have to keep winning one way or the other. Now, I think that, yeah, it will make it sweeter, definitely. And this is why I like banter, like what Evra did, because it becomes fun. When we win, we can banter him back, and then he'll be like, but at that time I was, right to banter you, fair enough, but it's not a lie. It's not, he's not making stuff up, which is good. Like, for example, I don't know, yesterday in my live, I was talking about how I put up a post in one of the groups, and I put a picture of Saka and Mainu, and then I wrote in the title, I wrote Champions League win and I said Premier League winner and Kobe Mainu. Of course, the Man U fans in the group were like, it was just something just to jab them. Now that's banter. I'm not trying to, if eventually Kobe Mainu wins the Premier League before again, then they can come and do their own and say, hey, and that's it. That's the type of banter that I like, but not the personal abuse on players, not the calling them names, not the just insulting the manager, insulting the players with no context, with no, it's like I saw people when we lost to Man City this season, when Declan Rice said it's not over yet. Like when he said it's not over, I saw video clips of people insulting Declan Rice. I'm like, yeah, insulting the player instead of genuinely, like, as a fan, when I saw Declan Rice say it's not over, in my heart, I was just like, I hope you mean it. And if you don't, I'm giving you and like, I need you to mean this. I need you to be able to go on and do this. That's what I was wishing for him. You know what I'm saying? Yo, so hey, what's up, Marco? How you doing, man? 2 live streams. Yeah, I'm trying to be more regular with the live now, because I was trying to do pre-recorded videos, and the ideas I have are just wild. I have a home studio here, so I was thinking of doing like really, really like big productions, and I was like, what's the point, dude? Just do live streams, talk your talk, chill your chill, have your hang your hangout, and and live your best life. So I'll be doing more of this. But like me as a fan, like the minute I saw like Declan Rice make that statement, do you know what I thought to myself? I hope you mean this. I would never look at my player saying it's not over and then think that he's being pretentious or he's trying to get clout. Like, why would I think negative first about my own people? And I can tell you this, man, even if he was being pretentious, the fact that people then went negative against it and printed all that, made all those comments online, and he heard it, he's probably like, you know what, now I've got to prove it to you guys. Because in that same vein, I think in that same game, Erling Haaland walked up to the camera and said, I got a feeling, or something like, I've got a feeling, or something. Nope. Nobody spoke about that. when City lost. Nobody said, "Oh, look at Erling Haaland. He said he got a feeling." Nobody. They literally just glossed over it, but they held on to what Declan Rice said. So this tells you the bias in the media towards Arsenal. Like if we had lost the league, they will be talking about everything Declan Rice said in that game. It's not over, but now it's over. You didn't win the league, but exactly it's the same thing. Yeah. Oh, sometime I get a good feeling. Yeah, he said that to the camera. And then when they lost the league, I don't see anybody in media. I don't see any content creators saying, "Who remembers when Erling Haaland said he got a good feeling?" Yeah, and then the feeling went, sour when they didn't win the league. Nobody's talking about it. But imagine Arsenal didn't win the league. Declan Rice will still be spoken about right now for saying it's not over. That tells you the imbalance in how Arsenal is covered and how they look at us. And so yeah, I'm super happy. Thanks, Marco. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you. Yes, I appreciate you. Thank you. So I mean, like that's why my thing is I try to be very reasonable with every other team because my team is going through the same thing. Like at the beginning of this season, I already knew that we were not going to win 38 games. I knew it that we're not going to win 38 games. So I said to myself, the games we lose, I just hope we give our all. That's the only time I can forgive the team and the manager, and that's the only time I can be rational about the way I will criticize them. But if we go there and just play like we don't care and then they beat us, I will be livid. And in some games, I'd said to myself, some games we will play our best and we probably might lose that game. So prepare for that because it happens in football. You're the better team, you have the better chances, but for some random reason, you just hit the bar 17 billion times and the goalkeeper saved 19 billion shots. And you can't, at the end of the game, you've got you can be initially in the initial thing, I can be very emotional and be like, oh, this team is crap, blah, blah, blah. But I always take a step back and be like, critically, I see what happened in this game. It just wasn't our game to win. And that for me is a key thing that I try to do at the beginning of every season. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to next season. I'm looking forward to us being able to win more stuff. I mean, even if what we're going for next season is Champions League only, go for it. I know everybody keeps on talking about, the banter about, oh, Premier League, we're never going to win it. We're never going to win it. You guys, 22 years and counting, you're never going to win it. You're never going to win it. And then suddenly we win it. And now nobody wants to say anything. It's the same thing with the Champions League. We've never won it, but eventually we will because everybody who's won something had never won it before. I've never won it before. Our style of play next season, I'll be honest with you. I strongly believe that our style of play is going to change. I think what had happened with Mikel Arteta, 22-23, that football that he played with the team, the way he set them up, and then we were 8 points ahead at some point, and then we lose the league by 5 points. Very, very painful. The year after, lose the league by 2 points. And the year after, if you notice how Arsenal played 23-24, we first half of the season we played that conservative defensive football where we just literally were like, all right, let's just make sure we have enough energy. The second half of the season comes, we play 16 games. I think we lose one, we draw one, and we win 14 on the bounce. And I remember that January clearly. We were beating teams 5-0, 4-0, 6. We were just running through teams. And I think that's what his plan was for 23-24. And then we lost the league by 2 points. Very painful again. Of course, Liverpool won the season after that. And rightly so. We went up to scratch. They took us out. And then that season, we literally played conservative football throughout it, controlling conservative football. But that's all we played in that season. And Liverpool went on to win. And he repeated that same style this season when he had all his manpower. Like he had the full squad now. And that's gotten us over the line. I don't think he's going to revert back to playing this style next season because he just wanted to win. So he tried something. Yeah, he tried something different. He actually just wanted to win. So he tried a different style. He's won now. I think we will go back to somewhat the 23-24 season where we play controlling football. And when we need to run through teams, now we're not afraid to run through them anymore because we already have won it. If we hadn't won it, you play conservative not to lose. You don't want to risk opening up anymore. But now you're like, look, I've done this already before. I now know that I don't care. If you score, I'll score you. Defensively, now we've trusted ourselves, but now that we've won it, with our defense, it's like we trust our defense now. Now attackers can be, let the attackers free. And I think that's what we're going to see. Let me see what you say. I actually see differently. I'm okay with our approach. With one or two better talent in the front three, we would create more chances and score more with the same style. It would look like we changed, which is true. And I think, again, if you look at even just the numbers, right? Because again, optically, if you're looking at us, we don't look too good when we play. We look Arsenal looks boring. Let's call it what it is. It's boring football, but it's a style of football that is efficient. We scored the second most goals even with this attack in the league this season, which is crazy. That we don't rate the attack as much because, again, Bukayo Saka was in and out. So again, if we scored the second most goals and conceded the least goals with this system, all we need to do is just say to them, hey guys, you know the system works now. Now you can go on an attack. Now, Saka, you don't have to drop back fully all the time because you trust your guys. Now I'm giving you the freedom. We've figured out how to get over the line. Let's release the players, and that's what I think will happen. Yes, we'll get one or two better players to come in and drop them in there and have those options. Would have more combinations, like when we look at Gyökeres and Havertz playing together. If we bring in Julian Alvarez and maybe another left winger, I think that's where we should be looking at. Or if we want to play the style of, because again, I don't see anything wrong in the manager experimenting. Now that you've won one time, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm telling you from my own eccentric mindset, that's probably what I would do. I would have my Saka on the right-hand side as my only winger. On the left-hand side, I would have two people like Eze and Rogers running those channels. And then the Calafiori that just shows up in the middle there. That's a mad high press when you attack. That's a mad high press, and any one of those guys would damage you. But the only thing is that I'm going to get them to be very athletic to the point where when you run, if you're doing all that pressing, once they counter us, you have to drop back, to help. And that would be, so the only person holding the whistle for me would always be Saka. And I will free Saka next season to just be able to get 1v1s. That's what I would just do for him. Like free him 1v1, get those balls in. You've got the likes of Julian Alvarez. You've got if we get him or Rogers, but you've also got the likes of Gyökeres and Havertz, peeling off in that 18-yard box while you have two other guys on the left, Eze and somebody else running the channels. I think that's a crazy style to adopt. But look, who knows? Anything can work. So, and yeah, let me see. So yeah, the players must hear how everyone. Yeah, of course. And the thing about it is, I think because the players have showed it before in the past how good we could be. We did it in 23-24. We did it in 22-23. Even in 24-25, there were games where we played open play. Even this season, let's be honest about it. In the Champions League, there were teams that opened up against us. When Inter opened up against us, they got walloped. When Bayern opened up against us, we outplayed them. When Atletico Madrid opened up against us, we outplayed them in the Champions League. So we've seen it even this season where we can play good football. So I think that you're right. The players would have heard and seen it, and they'll be like, let's prove ourselves. But I think this season, they just wanted to get over the line, or like, let's not make some stupid risks. Let me run this marathon. Let me get over the line. You come see me next season. When I have won because now Saka, you remember when Saka said, they told us that while he was talking about the light, he says, light it up. You can see the confidence in the players. You can see that, you can hear it from them now in interviews when they are talking. Like, you can hear Declan Rice saying, we go again next season. These are important statements from the players themselves, and that's for me what is key. Is like on the human side of things, these guys genuinely love the club and want to win. And yeah, I think they use like Eze. Remember in Eze's interview, I think it was one of the press interviews before a game, where they asked him, I said, they've been talking about Arsenal not winning or Arsenal winning the league, and he says, I don't care. I don't care about all this stuff. He didn't say he doesn't hear about it, but they're not allowing it to dictate their pace. Now, that could just be media training. Call it what you want. He's a human being. I'm sure they care about it, but what did they do with that emotion? We saw it on the pitch. Arsenal will suffocate teams in such a way that you don't get shots on target at us. I believe last season that we won the league, the period from October to November, even maybe early December, was one period where all the teams he played in all competitions didn't have any shots on target at Arsenal. I mean, you've got to. Those are the fine margins that will get you over the line, where you don't concede goals, where you keep the most clean sheets, and you find ways to score goals. And once we've done that, now we're like, let's go play free flowing. Let's. Yep. Yep. He said that this was Eze's quote. Yep. When we win, it'll be for everyone else to deal with. That was and you're right. That was and here we are now. Here we are. It's for everybody else to deal with. There's no hiding place anymore. Even with the World Cup, there's no hiding place. Sometimes I just wake up and just send my my family members and my friends who support rivals. I just send them the golden EPL trophy for no random reason on WhatsApp. I wake up and trigger 70 people. It's like, or sometimes before I go to bed at night, I'll send it to them. So when they wake up, it's the first thing they see. Like, this guy, man, leave me alone. No, I know you're a champion now. Like, exactly. You must address me as champion and not this guy in your messages next time. That's my response. It's like it literally, but I'm having fun with it because that's the banter for me, but objectively, we had to talk about the reality of what next season also holds. With where we're at, we're at a good place, and we need to strengthen because other teams, I think everybody else who can compete against us they have like new managers, right? So we've got Maresca at City, you've got Areola at Liverpool now. We've got Alonso at Chelsea. Tottenham with De Zerbi. These are managers that are pretty good. They are very, very good managers. And then going to such big clubs that have the money, the facility, and can also give them the type of players that they want and to play the style they want. It's going to be a tough league next season. But we're the most stable out of all of them, and I think we should do nothing to destabilize ourselves. We should do everything to strengthen ourselves. And if we can do that, I guarantee that next season is going to be a success as well. But we might walk the league next season, not because we score 5 goals again, but because we'll be settled in style and attackers. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, Marco, that's what I'm saying about the attackers. It's like this season, it was just, let's get over the line. So you notice Martinelli would come back to help defend. Saka would drop back to come back and defend. All these guys would come back and defend. They will drop back and it was a case of let's just win this game. And the fear of losing, like I said, was what drove Arsenal. You could see it in their eyes. They just didn't want to lose. There was a thing where a game, I don't remember who we played against, when we lost the game, and as we were walking out, Declan Rice was mouthing the word "not again," and you could see the pain in the eyes of the players. And there was an interview after we won the Premier League where the players were like, they always had a crisis meeting every time we dropped points or we lost the game. And they would talk to themselves. And one of them, and Declan and Saka were being asked, and I think Declan was like, the words that Martin Odegaard, the captain, spoke that day was very important. And then he says, Eze calmed everything down at the end, but the person who spoke the most to them in the middle and made them really believe that we could go on was Christian Norgard. And I'm like, hold on, that's weird. And guess what that was? That was an experienced older player who has been in the Premier League for a while and may not have won anything major, but comes with that experience. Say, listen, I've been in a team where I've had to hold and carry that team in the midfield, a team that was not going to win anything, but we just had to keep going. And to be able to have words coming from someone like that, that's important, and that's important. One game at a time. Yes, the weight is lifted now. I'm telling you, the weight is lifted now, and I'm just glad that we're a lot more stable. And our ownership, we've got to say a big thank you to the owners. We didn't see it at the very beginning when they first came in and took over the club. I guess we were a little, people. Yes, we were aggrieved. We were aggrieved, and it's been 22 years, of not winning the Premier League. But I think the issue with Mikel, okay, let me talk about Mikel Arteta. The issue with Mikel Arteta, right? Hey, Deji, what's up, man? I'll speak to Jerry Monga now. I've been watching his video clips. Oh Oh no. So I had to go do some research on the Cronkies, and I realized that this is what they've done with a lot of their franchises that they owned in the past. Like they would trust a young manager and just build with you so you get it done, and they'll pump in the money, if they can, if they're available to. And they did. They did it with their team, the Rams. They got an assistant manager from the Chiefs, and he became the head coach. And they stuck with him for I think 5 or 6 years before he won the Super Bowl. They've done it with the Nuggets. They've done it with their Colorado Avalanches. They've done it with their other franchises. And I think they are the only franchise owners, or excuse me, to win a Super Bowl, win an NBA, win a Stanley Cup, and now win a Premier League. Yep. And that's the thing about them. And so when I realized that was their personality and it was their business model, I kind of stepped back from the whole Cronkies are terrible when they first joined. I was like, you know what? These guys are going to come correct eventually. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So yeah. Yeah. Let me see, man. We have how do I feel about Jeremy Monga? Look, the future is bright. That's a very, very good, at least one of the best talents right now, from Leicester. Young kid, 16 years old. I think Arsenal is also looking at the future. I don't think he's coming into the first team right now. I think this is a player for the academy. At least maybe the under 21s, he'll go play for them or something. But he's a talent, and I'm happy to have those type of talents. We saw what Max Darman did for us this season. He played only a few games, a handful, but in some of those handful of games, he was very, very important. The Gyökeres goal against Everton, and then the second goal to seal it off. So yeah, he's 6 months younger than Darman. That's the thing. If we get him, he might go on loan, or we might just get him to play. Yeah, the good thing is we are getting him, right? If we go on and get him, like that's a good thing to have such a talent in your pool of players. Because even if you want to say, oh, he's so talented because he's played with Leicester that he can play maybe for the first team in certain games, then you don't want to loan him out. You want to keep him in the under 21s. You want to register him for like Carabao Cup and FA Cup and see if you can use him and see how well. And then if that doesn't work out, come January window, you can loan him out. You can loan him out come January window. If any of those games that you've kind of thrown him in, he's not working out, and I think but the Ecuadorian twins though, I think they don't start until 2027. And this makes me happy though, because I'm looking at our players right now. Gyökeres is 28, Eze is 27. By the time all these guys are transitioning out, we're building our team around the likes of Max Darman. Bukayo Saka becomes like the oldest player on the team if he's still with us, and that for me is a joy. Like you have the twins on your team, Mosquera is 21 right now. By the time those guys transition out, you'd have the likes of Mosquera, Nkapie. These are all young people that can eventually take over from the Gabriels, who's 26, 27. In another 3-4 years, Gabriel is 30, 31. In 4 years, guess what? Mosquera will be 25. And that for me that's the balance that I want to see, Yes, I think we've also Marley Salmon too. I think we just recently let go of Josh Nichols to go to Croatia. He's gone to Croatia now on a full deal to go play. We sold Josh Nichols. I think because it was going to be hard for him to even get in when Marley Salmon is there. You've still got Mosquera. You've still got all these guys who are in the hierarchy before you can even take out Gabriel or Saliba. And so and that's also a good thing, because that's full profit for us. That's full profit, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing that we're running the academy well. It's a good thing that we're getting the right type of talent, the young ones, good players, and it's a good thing that we're moving them, steadily through the ranks. And if you're super talented like Max Darman, you'll get your chance to play for the first team. That's the one. See, Mikel Arteta has shown over the last 2 seasons. I don't want to hear people just criticize that guy for saying, oh, he doesn't trust young people. No, he's brought in the Ethans. He's given a chance to the MLSs, Miles Skelly. He's brought in the Max Darmans. Like, we've allowed these young people to get a chance to at least show what they can do. If you're that talented and you're that good, you will get a chance, And And if we keep doing it the right way like that, we should be able to have a very competitive team for many years to come. Competitive is the word I used because other teams will also strengthen, both in Europe and locally in England. But at least we're giving ourselves a better chance of being the team that wants to win. I'm just kind of like doing it the right way. Yeah, my daughter is screaming balloon right now. What do you need balloon for? Go to your room. Abby, go to your room and take that out of your mouth. Yeah, she's chewing on rubber. These kids, they'll drive somebody crazy. Anyways, I was saying that that's what we need to do now. The first team, we just need to strengthen a little bit on the left-hand side. I think we've all forgotten about Mikel Merino. Honestly, I think we've forgotten about Mikel Merino. We've forgotten how good he was for us and how good he can still come for us. How good he can still be for us if he gets back to his full fitness, which he has now. And so we do have a midfield with Miles Lewis Kelly moving into the midfield, Mikel Merino, Declan Rice, Odegaard, Eze, Max Dowman. Like, we actually have people that can play in that position, like in that midfield. Dynamism, we can change. If we're playing a game where it's hard to break down a low block, then you throw in Eze and Odegaard at the same time. Two people that can create something from just find passes and create something from nothing. If you start the game and it's going to be a team that wants to play open, then you drop in a guy like Mikel Merino, you drop in a guy like Kai Havertz that knows how to pull people away, and then Gyökeres, because these guys will always find something on the edge of the box. Once you score 1-2, revert back to what you're good at. Just think out the game and play your defense. So we do have quite enough in that midfield. If we brought in some more people and we got rid of some people, fair enough. But the left-hand side is where I think we need to strengthen. I think we need to, personally, I think I get rid of Martinelli and Trossard. Let me see. Well, that's a big call. That's a big call, though. Look, I think we won the league. We won the league the way we needed to win it this season, and I'll tell you why. This league is not easy to win. It is not an easy league to win at all. At the end of the day, I expected us to win this league with like 2 points. That's what I was thinking, man. Hey, Flawless, my brother. How you doing, man? Big up, Flawless. How you doing, my brother? I expected us to win with like 2 points. I didn't think we were going to be able to win the way we did. But if you look at the last 5 games, it was a case of just get it over the line. Because here's the narrative about Arsenal over the last 3 seasons where we've come second. It was always the last 5 games. We just never got those last 5 games over the line. We just never did. We just couldn't do it. For some random reason, a West Ham will come and give us problems. Suddenly, Aston Villa turns to prime Barcelona and shuts us out. Like that. Southampton decides it is time for me to get my own, chunk and flesh. And we had no answer for these people over those seasons. And it was painful to watch because you play 16 games, win 1, draw 1, and then lose the league by 2 points. And then you're called the butler, which rightfully so, they can banter us and call us butlers because we lost the league. But it is how we lost it that pained me the most. Hold on, people. Let me make sure my daughter she's Abby. Put her in the room. Come get your sister and take her to her room. She's just screaming here. Hey, what's up, man? Chibuzo, how you doing, my brother? Now, okay, this is what, listen, people, this is what happens when you have 3 Rugrats. Meme, no, don't come here. I'm on. What is it? What happened? I know. Here, okay, thank you. Let go. Okay, take it. Go. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you, darling. Yeah, this one is 1 year old. She's a God. The thing is a troublemaker. This the last one, a proper troublemaker. Like all that noise is her. Yeah. Oh, bro. Man, let me just tell you, see, I don't know how I deal with it. I don't even know how I'm surviving on a daily. That's my 6-year-old screaming, yeah, down the stairs. And then he says that Dide, you all go to your room, go watch TV, you can play games, play your computer game, do everything. Just lock the door. You heard what I said? All right, buddy, thank you. Ah, that is the one that is swallowing balloon, eating you choke on the one that is. What did I just ask you to do, buddy? That if I need to turn a camera around so you guys can see what in fact, you know what? People say don't show your children online. It's true, but you need to see what this one is. Somebody is holding shoe. One is carrying shoe like a loony. Let me use my phone and connect it. One is carrying phone like a loony. See, fight. Oh, yeah, love you. Confirm. Big-headed. Hey, stop. All right, that's it. We're done. Go to your room. Bruh. That is, I can't even scream in my office in peace. The fact that they all came all the way up here. Stop screaming. No more shouting. Okay, sorry. Go down. Go to mommy. Name go to mommy. And Abby, you go to your room. All right. Yeah. So let's continue with where was I before they invaded me? This is invasion of privacy. As I'm like this, I don't own nothing to them. They are the owners of the whole life. Oh, I'm telling you, man. So yeah, I just believe strongly that I think all that season where we were unable to do much, where we didn't have the answers to those teams, was very painful. Which is why I think this season we played, like I said, to not lose games. We played out of fear to not lose games and get it over the line. Now that we've gotten over the line, I'm hella sure that next season we're gonna. Hey, what's up, SSB? How you doing, man? Yeah, Deji was asking a question, man. I'm all on true bloom, not true. They'll be eating this thing. Chibuza, what's up? All right. So so for me, most importantly, we're right on track. Arsenal is where we need to be now. The trusting the process, we are now getting the fruits of that process. I think Arsenal fans don't realize that we were in more or less 3 finals this last season. The Carabao Cup, yes, we lost it. The Champions League final, yes, we lost it. But the Premier League, we won. Can we ask ourselves a very honest question as Arsenal fans? Would we have ever dreamt that this team would be in 3 finals at any given time in the last 3 or 4 years? No. Yay, Insomniac. Hey, how you doing? Like, we would never have thought about this. We would never have dreamt about it. But now that it's happening, we know it's possible. So get behind the team, man. Get behind the team. We've seen now that these guys see a lot of the things that people say about them. We saw Eze's response in his interview where he was being shown the guy with the bottle and he was laughing. He said he saw it in his friends group chat. So these players see the things that we say, and I know it's painful, but now they've done it. We should get behind the team. And at least even if I'm going to be critical of the team, I have to be constructive about it. The same way I'm constructive about every other team. Liverpool last season broke the transfer record twice in a window. Hey, Don, how you doing, man? Liverpool broke the transfer record twice. Guys, let's like the video. Please help me out. Like the video, share it, let it go to other people. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I appreciate that as well. But, nobody's talking about them. Those players did not perform like you would expect them to perform in the season. And people gave context. Oh, they're trying to blend the team. And then eventually people started saying, no, Arne Slot is a bad manager. He's not able to use the tools he has. They kept on giving many reasons why, every other team had an issue. But they forget that Arsenal at some point throughout this season would have 5-6 new players on the pitch playing at the same time. Players that had not played together. We would have a Zubimendi and an Eze on the pitch. We would have Noni Madueke and Gyökeres, and then you'd have Nkapia and Mosquera all playing because of injury. and nobody gave context to Arsenal. Say, oh, there's 6 new players on the pitch. Oh, there's, maybe that's why they drew the game against Wolves. Maybe that's why they played badly against, Bournemouth. Maybe that's why, like, nobody will give that context to Arsenal. It was you drew to Wolves, you bottled it. It became hard to have a footballing conversation because we just hadn't gotten it over the line. And now that we have, now that we have, I think it changes the narrative. Let me see. I see this. It says, yeah, what's the threshold with Arteta? And I even said, look, here's the thing about me. I'm realistic. I said if Arteta won an FA Cup and a Carabao Cup, and there's a better manager out there who's better than him, and we can get that manager, I'll swap him for that manager. I'm not sentimental like that, right? Because at the end of the day, you know what? I need to leave the screen for 2 minutes. I need to put my daughter in her room. Ouch, I clamped my hand. I'm back. So yeah, for me, like I was saying, if that's all his threshold was, then I'll change the manager. But now he's won the Premier League, he got to the Champions League final, and he lost on penalties. I'm going to see. The Champions League final. We were the underdogs. Let's be honest about it. PSG were the better team going into that game. But after we scored a goal, it didn't look like PSG was going to score. Without the Mosquera, mistake, without that penalty being given, I'm not going to attribute it to Mosquera alone. I think just allowing Kvaratskhelia to run at him alone is a dangerous thing that we did. But without that penalty, I think we win that Champions League. But we had to learn a lesson. We gave away a penalty, and we ended up playing penalties against them. The painful thing for me with the penalties was we didn't even test their goalkeeper. If Eze had at least played it and the keeper saved it, and if Gabriel had played and the keeper saved it, then I'd say their keeper won them the Champions League. But we gave away that. We just skied the ball. And Mosquera did well, for 70 minutes. Kvaratskhelia was quiet. In fact, he was bleeding on his shin. Mosquera had run him ragged, But again, we must remember, like I tell people, Mosquera is a 21-year-old defender. His first season. This is his first season, 21 years old. First season playing for Arsenal, playing in the Champions League, playing in the Premier League, and that's why that final really felt painful to me because, Raya was tested. If you look at the PSG penalty takers, they at least got it on target, and Raya saved one. Mendes did not score. At least just go on and test the goalkeeper. Then I can say, hey, you know what? The goalie gave you, just like last season, I was telling people that Donnarumma is what got PSG to the final against us. That's my personal belief, and I'll hold on to it till I die. I've watched those games again over and over, and I'm like, Donnarumma really, really outdid himself. So you skying the ball, Gabriel and Eze missing the ball totally, not getting it on target. Because again, you never know. Keeper puts a hand to it, it bends, it hits the bar, it goes in. Fans, take it. But keeper saves it, and I'm like, hey, Stefanov is the person who saved you guys. He was on fire, and boom. And so I think we've learned from that. It's about making sure that you at least get it on target. Now, these guys know this now. They should. It's their job. And so, just going forward, I'm just excited about where we're at. I'm excited about where the players are at. Raya, that's the thing. Raya got us back into it, even though he had gone the opposite. They had thrown him off in the first 2 penalties, like he was going the opposite direction. Totally did very, very good penalties from PSG, and then he saved that one to get us back in the game. And then we don't even test their goalkeeper. Like, that's the part that I'm pained about, because again, it's a final. We might end up playing penalties, so we should have prepped for it enough more. And if we did, didn't execute it properly. And I think that's where my grouse is. Like, if we don't execute properly, then that's where my grouse is with the team. But we can do better than what we did. We could do better than what we did. You guys like the video, it will share it to more people if you're able to do that for me. But yeah, it's been an amazing season for us. I just look at all the things that we achieved this season, which is winning the Premier League on the top of the list, making it to a Champions League final for the first time in God knows how long, and losing on penalties. A loss is not something you celebrate. I'm not celebrating it, but I'm like, you know what? If we can get this close, then we can try it again. If I can get that close, we can give it another shot. We can go again next season, and we want to go with players who are also hungry for it. Someone like Julian Alvarez, who we knocked out of the Champions League, comes to Arsenal and he's like, yeah, now I've got to be able to play for you guys and let's get there, because they also were going for it as well, but we got them out of it. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting season come 26, 27. I'm going to predict something right now. And I saw this last season I know people are going to be like, why do you believe those things? But it's I ran a mathematical competition using an AI, and the AI said we're going to win the Premier League this season. I just wasn't bold enough to say it. And then it says we'll win the Champions League in 26, 27. So now I don't know how it knows, but I told it to project the next, like, for the future, based off the players, the age, how we've been performing, and how every other club has been performing in Europe and everything. And it was like the trajectory is marginally win the Champions League in 26, 27. So we'll see. I'm saying it now, so nobody comes and says, hey, Marco, don't jinx it yet. Yeah. I mean, all I wanted was the league this season, I'll be honest with you. There was a point in the season where, of course, on streams I would joke and say things, not even joke. I back my club to be. I'm like, when 4 competitions, I back you to go on and win them. Then, like, I have to back my boys. If you're already there, I've got to be able to back you and push you, right? And say, hey, why don't you go on and do it? But at a point, I was like, hey, there's too many games, bro. I sat down and looked at the Arsenal minutes per player. At a point, we had about 5 players who've played over 4,000 minutes, 4,500, 4,200, 4,300, 4,400 minutes. That's ridiculous. That's about 45 games of 90 minutes. Now, looking at Manchester City, the people chasing us behind, they only had 1 player on their team who had played over 4,000 minutes, Erling Haaland. Wild. I'm like, hold on, we're burning these guys down into the ground. And I get it. We had 32 injuries across the season, in and out. So players were forced to keep playing and playing and playing and playing. Fair enough. But at the same time, it was like, yo, maybe we give up the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and then we made this Carabao final. And I'm like, well, if you're in the final, just try and get it. But we've learned something from these 2 finals that we did not win anything, which is, in the finals, you just have to go all out. Yeah, we just have to go all out. I'm not going to speak to how I think we're going to perform next season yet as well. I'm not going to do that yet as well. I'm not going to say anything else until I see who we bring in and who leaves and how we set up. And interestingly, now I would like to see Miles a little more in the midfield, and I think that's going to happen. So at the beginning of the season, I told a lot of Liverpool fans, if you watch George Mo's streams that I was on quite a bit of his streams. I told Liverpool fans, I said, you're forward heavy, and that's the problem. And the players that you have play in the same space, and you're going to have an issue, making that team like gel. Like, they have very good forwards. Let's call Ekitike is a good forward. Isak is a good forward. Vert is a good attacking player. They had Salah. Now, because of what Salah did the season before that, you're expecting something more from Salah as well. So the drop off, like, those are 4 players that can destroy any defense, right? But yeah, it just didn't work. And when you have players of that caliber in the team and all of them are not working, then yes, you have to look at the manager. You have to look at the system, the manager. And that's what I was saying about about Arsenal's Champions League final. In our Champions League final game, our creative player, which was Odegaard, played 60 minutes and he had 12 touches. Meanwhile, when Eze came in, Eze also played 60 minutes because he played 30 minutes of the full of the 90 minutes, and then he played 30 minutes of the extra time. And Eze had 10 touches. That tells you it was the way we set up. The way we set up to play against PSG, our creative players are not going to get a lot of the ball. If your two creative players both played 60 minutes and one got 12 and one got 10 touches, those are very similar numbers. That tells me the system is what gave them the opportunity to only be able to touch that few many balls. So we needed them to be able to, play differently. You needed to change it, and that's on the manager, Mikel Arteta. I think he just decided, you know what, let's just go for penalties. After all, they've taken off some of their best players. We've also taken off some of our best players, but I think we have just enough on the pitch to be able to etch them in penalties. And then, of course, Raya, being that right now you've got to look at his track record in the Champions League and say Raya is one of the better goalkeepers in Europe. So you would lean on that strength. I would lean on that strength as a manager, But lo and behold, we skied two penalties. But yeah, we go again next season. Yeah, at the end with Nkapie. Well, Nkapie is a monster, man. I think, yeah, right. That's fair enough to say. That's fair enough to say about that. Sorry, let me put that back up. It's fair enough to say about Nkapie's injury, but we were already at the tail end, and I think if you're already at the tail end, you just need to go for it now. At this point, just play the penalties properly. That's it. It feels like we have players, but we don't do enough. No. So again, I don't know if you're here earlier in the stream. I think that we played the way we played this season. We didn't want to overdo anything and make mistakes. The fear of losing is how we played this season, and it's okay to play that way as long as it gets you over the line. Mikel Arteta, we know the quality of the players in this team, and I'll tell you how I know. In this same season, when we played Bayern Munich, we saw the quality of this team. When we played Atletico Madrid in the Champions League phase, we saw the quality of this team. When we played Inter, a team that in Italy we've always kind of struggled. We showed them what we were made of because, again, we know what the quality is. But in the league, I think there was a sense of the fear of losing, the fear of not getting it over the line. Let's play within ourselves, find a way to score, lean on our other senses, and play to our biggest strength, which is defense and off the ball. That was our biggest strength. So let's work with that till the end of the season, get it over the line, which we did, with 7 points, by the way, which we did. And now you'll see a difference because the quality of the players are there. We saw it this season. So it's okay now to unleash them because now nobody can say, oh, you're bridesmaids, you're runners up, And I think it was an approach. I'll be honest with you, just looking at the quality of players we have, we should be able to play better than that. But I think it was an approach. And the approach worked. And at this point, I've got to say, well, Mikel got it right. That approach worked. You got it right. I may not have enjoyed the style of football you played, but the results are undeniable. And that's that for the Premier League. It's like, okay, who's going to take it away from him now? Nobody. So going forward, I think we can unleash the players a bit more. I think the players will play with a lot more freedom. I don't think they'll be playing with the fear of losing anymore. Like, they'll be playing like we are the champions. We just have to beat these guys. That's a different mentality now that we've got to carry in. And that's how they'll be thinking about it. And you can already see it in their character. When Saka is tapping on the glass saying, they said we would never do 22 years, light it up. You're hearing Eze laughing, saying, yeah, you know what? Declan Rice is saying, bring it on. Next season, bring it on. And you're seeing all these, you can see it in their character. Like they will play with more freedom, more emotional stability. There's not a big fear anymore. And again, Mikel has always changed year in, year out. So I know he has the ability to be able to change. If you notice, 22-23, we played a style of football that everybody was like, beautiful football, but we didn't win anything with it. And then 23-24, we played a mix where the first half were kind of defensive and slow. Then the second half of the season, we ran like mad, 16 games, and we did all that madness. I still didn't win. We lost by 2 points. And then, of course, the 24-25, which was the one that Liverpool won with everything that we did, which was more conservative football and the injuries. We just couldn't keep up. Liverpool were better. Salah was on fire. Nobody can take that away from them. Salah was amazing for them, and they went on and won the league. And then this year, we employed the same style, which is off the ball defensively, and then just find ways to score. and we went on to win the league. So I think next season he can change because he has changed year in, year out, anyways. We've seen him change consistently over the last 3-4 seasons. Ooh, left wing. I said it yesterday. I think Rodrigo is my guy. That's who I want. Rodrigo is my guy. That's the person that I want this but he's injured and I don't think Madrid will sell him. And I don't know if he's going to be back being the same Rodrigo that he was, because that injury has been on for like a minute now. I think he's missed the whole season. But if I don't have him, I'll see what PSG is doing with their wingers, and then I'd probably go and see. I'll probably go and see what I can do from PSG, who I can nick from them. Maybe Barcola. There's a lot of noise about him. I just don't know. I just don't know. Which is why I was saying, like, I would just be a madman manager if I was the one managing Arsenal right now, and I would not even go for left wingers. I would throw people like Eze and Morgan Rogers on that side, who are midfielders, with Calafiori in left back, who can bomb all the way to the front, and just make sure that my left side, whenever we're attacking, we're really just pressing them. It means that those players will have a lot of work to do. And that's what I would do, man. No. I hear you about. So the thing is, I think players thrive better in other environments. I don't use what happens with you in one club to say, oh, that like, for example, we saw Mbappe in France, and then now in Madrid, we see how he's struggling as well, and he's good. He's still Mbappe, but again, I don't judge players that way. I judge them by the system that they're coming to play in, and I think he would have been good for Arsenal. Rodrigo would have been a good fit for Arsenal for how we play, is what I mean. So again, it's not even about a star player that will come and carry the team on his back and all that. Arsenal doesn't want that. Mikel Arteta doesn't want that. He wants a squad. He wants a team that plays for each other. He's not looking for like the star guy who's going to be number one, who can dribble 7 people. No, everybody, like this Arsenal team, barring Victor Gyökeres this season, everybody was scoring even amount of goals. The goals are shared around. The balance is there. Even Diego Simeone, Atletico's manager, in his interview after they played us, said this is the one balanced team that he's played against this season. That Arsenal is very balanced as a team, So I think that's why I said that would work for us. I'm not using it as a hype of Rodrigo is this or Rodrigo is that. No, so I wouldn't mind Rodgers on the left wing as well. And these are very good quality players. I just need to see more from, like, I can look at Ibrahim Diaz and say, yo, really, really good, right, at Madrid. But then the way he plays and the way we try to play, if we bring him into the system, does he fit that profile for what we want? And can he hit the ground running? Remember how Gyökeres was scoring mad goals in Portugal, and he was there with, God knows, 50-something goals. Oh, thank you, honey. Thank you, baby. 50-something goals and all that. And then he comes to Arsenal, and then he has to learn the Arsenal way and play the Arsenal way, and yeah. I guess he can. I'm not saying he can. I'm just saying, I always try to, before I pick a player, like, all right, boom. Because I also need all the kind of players that we need are players who can play more. Arteta likes players who can play multiple positions. That's number one. Can work very hard for the team. Number two, I think before he even looks at your physicality, I think before he even looks at your technical skills and all that, because that you can learn, and I think that's the thing about it, that he looks for very, very athletic players who are willing to work for the team. It's the mentality first, and once you have that mentality, I guarantee you, and you heard him in his interview, he says it's, and even players, when they talk about before they joined Arsenal, like when they just hear when the manager explains who they are as a player to them, he does his homework on you, and he comes and tells you your strength. Remember his interview, he said he told Declan Rice, you will be a leader in this team if you put yourself in the right positions. He told him this before he signed. So I think that, yeah, we will get some quality players. Again, winning the Premier League is a good thing because it allows us to attract bigger players. People are going to, these players will look at us differently now. Well, again, yeah, he looked good. Like I said again, the same way I would give context and to Gyökeres. This is his first season back in the Premier League, and he's playing for Arsenal, and we won the league with him. He was our highest goal scorer, so he may not have looked good. The whole team did not look good. The Arsenal didn't look entertaining, but Arsenal was effective. Whether people like it or not, that's the truth. The fact is the fact. It doesn't care about my feelings. My feelings, I wanted good football and win. But if you're not going to give me good football, just get me the 3 points. Um, you know, and I'm literally for next season super excited as well. I'm super excited for next season. I can't wait for us to literally just getting the right players, and we'll see what we can do, man. We'll see what we can do next season. I'm excited. I'm excited about it. Let me see. Also need to be flexible between PL and Champions League 4-2-3-1 in the PL because of the physicality, and 4-3-3 in UCL. And don't forget 4-4-2 boys, 4-4-2 boys in defense, 4-4-2 off the ball, yeah. In depth, I can play both systems. The market is excited. Yeah, I'm excited for next season as well. Insomniac, I watch Diaz every week when he's still at Milan for 2 years. Very good player, but very frustrating. Oh, there we go. So, but again, he may have been frustrating there because of the system as well. You see what I'm saying? Like maybe him fitting into the Arsenal system might change the way we perceive him. I just want the players that fit the team, because I know a lot of fans want like big names, big this, big that. Yeah, I also want a big name, but you've got to be able to work for the team. Yeah, true. And he'll be a good attacking backup. 4-4-2 guys, 4-4-2. So Saliba is a clown. It's like he's watching the Bournemouth City game. 2-3 minutes to go. 4-4-2 guys. 4-4-2. You're not the coach now. They can't hear you from the TV. Yeah. Yeah. And again, these are some of the things. It's almost like this person is a good player, but will they fit the Arsenal system? And I think that's where we've reached now as a club, where if you've reached the summit, which is you reach the peak, you won the Premier League, you can't go any higher than for the English league, you can't go any higher than winning the Premier League. So now you've got to make sure that whatever pieces you bring are the right pieces, and not just names, not just let's just bring in a big name. I like this person, I like that person. I would like to go and look at the data. I'd like to look at what this person does offensively, defensively, physicality, injury record. I'd like to see a lot of stuff that, what can you bring to this team? And that's where I would really, so that means he can be a good squad player if truly he gets tired easily, then yeah. I'm not saying it'll work every time. You're right. My idea of playing two attacking mids was in the case where we're playing a team that just sat in the low block. Maybe the first half we didn't play two attacking mids. We probably play a defensive midfielder, I'll play a cam and an attacking mid, a central midfielder, attacking midfield one. And I'm unable to penetrate for some reason, and it just looks bad. Like these guys their low block is just so bad that we find no space. There's no space in the channels. There's no space to even get the ball to the wingers, for the wingers to get back and do even cutbacks. I would then decide, okay, let's just be creative in the middle and see if we can break them down. I'd play two attacking mids at that point in time, two very creative attacking mids at that point. And I'd lean on the fact that I have 1-6 who can do the job. So if Declan Rice is my 6 in that game, then I'd risk it because I know he can cover ground. And of course, the defenders, Saliba and Gabriel, and then of course Timber and Calafrio, or Timber and Nkapie, whoever we have as in the back four, are good enough to be able to do a defensive job if we get counter-attacked on. But I would want that extra creativity, and so that way my wingers can also pull back a little bit and create that space in the back for runners. So that means I want to see Gyökeres run into the space where Saka is supposed to be, and Saka comes to the middle to drag away that defender. So there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to break down low blocks, and it's ideas. I'm not a trained coach or manager. I'm just a fan that enjoys watching his team play, and I feel like I can only judge my players based on the skills that I see on the TV, or that I read about. And based on that, on what I've read, I can say, hey man, I've seen Ben White do overlaps and underlaps. I've seen Ben White try to cross the ball in and score goals. Why not? Let's take that risk. Let's push up more people. So yeah, if we're playing a low block, I don't see anything wrong in testing out an attacking mid. Maybe the reason we haven't done it many times is, Arteta knows better than me and his backroom staff, and they're like, hey, there's too much danger. But yeah, I think we get the right players this season. For me, left wing is very, very important. We need to fix that. So we'll see. We'll see. And I think at this level, I don't know if bringing any player in as a backup is the key thing. No, I think it's bringing in players that are going to just keep us there, not a backup anymore. Because you've reached the summit, you've reached the top. It's like you've climbed all the way to the mountain. You're at the top. You're hanging. You've gotten everything that you need. All you need now is for your fingers not to be tired. So anybody that you're bringing is somebody that needs to prop up your legs so that you can rest your hands a little bit and keep hanging. We just need to bring in players that, they're right here and they're pushing everybody up, literally, and if there are better players out there that can come and take this person's position and is available and we can afford them, I'm buying them. Like that's what I would do if I was running the club. I'm getting the better player to come in because I'm like, all right, I know he has your ability already. He just needs to understand the system. Preseason, we work on the system consistently with this player so that you are able to, because you have the skill set to execute it anyway. So, and so that's important for me because if you look at all the metrics this season, most of our attacking problems. Okay, so you said it stems from a build-up of players that were injured, like Ben and Calafiori, more ball-carrying defenders. Yeah, that's one way to, because again, I this season is a weird one for me. I'll be honest with you. Our attack did not look good, but I still struggle with take away the 18 goals from set pieces. We scored the second highest number of goals in the league this season with our set piece, and I've seen teams like Chelsea in 04-05 do the same thing. They scored a total of 19 set pieces. Corners, including set pieces, were all 19 for them in that season when they won. And even their highest goal scorer that year was 13 by Frank Lampard. It wasn't even Didier Drogba, So I think we played that type of style this season. I think it was intentional. I don't think Arteta saw it as a problem. The players were working on a system that was, we just want to be better off the ball. We don't have to overly push. We don't have to overly commit. We know we can score in multiple ways. We just want to win the league. Then next season we'll see, John Terry has the most goals for centre back, but again, Gabriel has contributed his fair share of goals. We can't compare. I'm not comparing John Terry's goals. I'm just saying it was a very similar style of centre backs contributing goals. John Terry contributed, Gabriel contributed, Saliba contributed, Timber as a right back contributed goals. It's just that idea that everybody in the team had a share to give, towards pushing for the win. And that's the thing. I think that's the style that we played. And that's why we kind of looked wonky in attack. And people were like, oh, the attack. Because again, in this same season, we saw this attack against Bayern. We saw this attack against Inter. We saw this attack against Atletico in the, opening the league phases of the Champions League. Right? We saw it. We saw this attack literally go ham and just create chances. We saw Saka driving with the ball, take a shot, or it got deflected somehow, and Gyökeres first time curved the ball into the top bins against Inter. We saw this attack rip defenses open, but then when we played in the league, we kind of played a system, and I think that's what we did this season, and I strongly believe it because there were games that the Fulham game, for example, showed us what this attack could do. Fulham game showed us what this attack could do. There are multiple games that you can look at, 1 or 2, 3 games that, like, if we wanted to play that way, we could have played that way. But I think the fear of losing was bigger for us than the excitement of winning the game. It was always, we didn't want to lose, so we played conservative football. People hate it, but it worked. Now that people cannot banter us about the Premier League, about not winning, I think we play better football next season because we saw these players play it anyways this season. They just didn't do it consistently because they wanted to get over the line. So yeah, that's where another right back might need to let Ben White go. I love him. I hate to see him go, but we need availability critical. Ben White's injury again is one of an enigma to me. I think maybe I'd give him one more season. I'd give Ben White one more season if he wants to stay. I think his injury issues will all be rectified. Like Kai Havertz injury at the beginning of season. Yeah. Think about that, for example. Yeah. Exactly. See? Kai Havertz injury at the beginning. So I think the coaching staff and Arteta sat down and decided we're going to play this negative football. Guys, I know you don't like it, but we just have to score one goal and keep it pushing. Oh no, see, let me say that regardless of what you do, regardless of who you bring in, left wing or left attacking midfield, whoever you bring, Saka will always get doubled. There's no Saka has done too much damage to too many teams over the years that no matter who you bring, they're not going to follow that player. Have you noticed how many times Ben White will overlap and nobody follows him? And Saka then has to find White and White puts the cross in. That's the thing. Ben White will overlap, but the players they don't leave Saka alone. They don't trust him to leave him alone 1v1. So they still stay there with him and he has to find the pass to Ben White. Then Ben White gets the cross in and then we can then get something from it. And if they're stupid enough, if one of those guys is dumb enough to actually track Ben White, thinking Saka would pass, then you've left Saka one-on-one with the player and you know how dangerous it can be. So no matter what we do, Saka will be doubled up on. Whoever we put there, unless the other managers are going to tell you, don't worry about the other guy. He's less dangerous. Ben White's crosses are not as, they're good, but he 1 in 3, 2 in 4. And those are like the fine margins with the numbers, so they're going to keep doubling up on Saka no matter what we do. Yeah. Saka, yeah, Ben White has given a lot to this club. Yep. I noticed that Timber did that a lot, but again, if you notice, the defenders didn't bite. They didn't jump for it. Maybe every now and then in the game, maybe once or twice they'll bite. And that's what we need to be clinical. This is why I'm talking about us being clinical, because in a game, if they finally bite and leave Saka one-on-one, Saka's got to be able to cut back in and take that shot on his left leg. Just cut in and do it one time. Don't create the half a yard that you need and shoot it. You're better off shooting the ball, keep up punching it out, striking the bar, doing something, putting fear in that defense, and not always, okay, now I'm 1v1, let me cut in and do a cut back and hope somebody can shoot it in. So yeah. Well, look, I mean, I hear that we're linked to a lot of people. I try not to talk about the transfer window as much because you know how transfer windows can be. You're linked to this person today, tomorrow it's gone. You're linked to this person tomorrow, and then the day after it's somebody else entirely. And we saw that even last summer, where all of a sudden Nani Madueke became something that Arsenal fans were writing petitions to not sign him. Overnight, and Nkapie shows up. Who the heck is Nkapie? And what were we doing? We signed another defender, but we saw how that turned out for us. Mosquera, like that was a coup. Half of us didn't know who Mosquera was. And when he showed up, some of us are like, oh, what kind of signing is this? I think the signings that excited us were Gyökeres. For some of us, Gyökeres, others wanted somebody else, and Eze. And the Eze one, I felt like was the forced signing because of Kai Havertz's injury. And so for me, I'm just going to wait it out, Oh no, he was a solid player. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying like the fact that we signed Nkapie on loan, we're just like, as an Arsenal fan, I was like, how many more defenders do you need? Is what I mean. Like, dude, how many more? Like, let's get people up front, and then Havertz gets injured, and it's like, all right, let's get Eze, and that was a good move, and I appreciate the fact that they Eze, and that's good. So far so good. I trust Andrea Berta to do the job that he needs to do. I know there's a bunch of players out there. It's hard to keep track on all these multiple different players and go watching them. There's a guy that I saw, Mika Götze for Ajax. I've been watching his stuff as well recently, just because people have been talking about him for the left wing. I think that's an amazing talent, but I don't think he's the person I want to bring in to start. If I'm getting rid of Trossard and Martinelli, then I'll get a Mika Götze as my second backup winger, and I still want a very experienced left winger. If it means breaking the bank for Kvaratskhelia, then break the bank. That's what big clubs do. Squeeze PSG's neck until something comes out. Like, I know it's not going to happen. I know everybody's going to start saying, no, it's not. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm saying, but if that's the case, that's what you want to do. Get a Mika Götze and then go squeeze the neck of PSG for Kvaratskhelia. Go pay 150 million for him. I don't care. Bring me Kvaratskhelia and Mika Götze on the left-hand side, and I'm good. And just get me one more person in midfield. Get me Rodgers in midfield, and we're good. We're golden. Like, I'll take those three this season and be quiet. Look, fine away. Let me be honest with you. If it means beating them by taking him away, I'll do it. Look, I would. That's what I'm saying about Kvaratskhelia. Like, I know it's not going to happen, but if that's what it takes to become the biggest club, to be able to go and win the Champions League next season, brah, just do it, man. Just do it. Because what we're saying here is, if you give me, look at this. Let me dream. This is a dream summer for me. This is not going to happen. We're not going to get all these players, but dream summer. Get me Kvaratskhelia. Get rid of Trossard and Martinelli. Get me Kvaratskhelia on the left. Somehow pay 180 million. I don't care. Get me Mika Götze as his backup. Great stuff. In attack, get me Julian Alvarez to come into attack for us, and get rid of Gabriel Jesus. And then in midfield, bring me Rodgers. Now, think about the attack where you have Kvaratskhelia, Julian Alvarez, and Bukayo Saka. Oh, God. Oh, man. Yeah. That's an attack there. Yeah, and we still have Havertz and Gyökeres, definitely. But I'm just saying, like, that's an attack right there. I'll just be like, yeah. You know what? Those three, let me tell you what I'll do. Those three are going to be my guys who are going to play Champions League, right? For Premier League, Noni, you got to step up your game. So I'll play you Premier League right wing. I'll play Gyökeres or Havertz, and I'll play Mika Götze on the left for Premier League. And Jeremy Monga is a 16-year-old kid, man. He's looking good, but I think he's got a loan spell or two before he makes the senior team. But again, I just mentioned players who are runners. Rodgers is a runner with the ball. Kvaratskhelia is a runner with the ball and a dribbler. So how is that? You're getting a better left winger. You're getting an upcoming left winger in Mika Götze. Not even upcoming. He's very good, and he also cuts into that central left channel a lot, where he drifts in there and he can carry the ball. He carries the ball from deep as well. So you do have runners in all these players. So how can you say like it's the wrong way to build a team? You need runners and creators. So you have a player like Kvaratskhelia, who's a very good creator, who's a very good runner with the ball. You have a player like Mika Götze, who has the same thing. I think if you've not seen his stuff, maybe you should watch it and see how well this guy carries the ball, right? Yeah, and again, like I said, it's just a dream. I said it's a dream lineup. And then I said for Rodgers, he's a ball carrier too, and he's a creator, and he takes shots, And Barcola, Barcola showed me something in the Champions League that I'm glad he didn't score those 2 chances he got. He's fast. He's good. He's just a Jeremy Doku 2.0 or Jeremy Doku 1.5 to me. That's what it is. He's just a Jeremy Doku 1.5. The dude, I don't know how to put it, but how do you get behind Saliba, get that opportunity, and not able to put it away twice? That's my thing with that. So it's like, yeah, he just showed me like, yeah, and if you've won the Premier League, you can't go to that type of, that cannot be your next fallback. Sorry, I think my phone's ringing. Is it? Yeah, it was ringing. You can't fall back on those type of things and be like, oh, like let's get this player who's not finished. Like this is why I said, get me the finished product. Get me what you need. At this stage, we can't rely on any. Rodgers is almost the finished product for me as regards to he has Premier League experience. He's played in Champions League. He played at Aston Villa that did very well this season. He understands the Premier League. He's a player that understands the teams are going to meet in the Premier League. So getting the Rodgers is a no-brainer for me. Getting me a Kvaratskhelia, who happens to be the best left winger in the world right now, is a no-brainer. I know we're not going to get him, but that's the level that you need to go for. That's the level we need to go for. Yeah, what I'm saying, Rodgers, right, wants the ball to feed, but he's a good ball carrier. Like if you give him the ball deep, I've seen him many times for Villa, drop down, collect the ball, drive in all the way to the edge of the 18-yard box, create something, or unleash a shot. But that's not the only way to play football, is what I'm saying. So if you say that that's all we need, it's a Mika Götze, for example. He's an amazing player. I like him, but he will not be my first choice left winger. If he's going to come, I want him to be my second choice left winger. Yeah. And so, yeah, we just need better than what we have right now, because what we have right now got us the Premier League, and to maintain it, you just need to get something better. You can't get something behind it to say, oh, let's see how these guys will turn out. No, it's got to be better than what we have, and it is what it is. If it means getting rid of players, then it is what it is. Get rid of them and get something better, and then we can take it from there. But yeah, man, I've been streaming this for 1 hour 30 minutes. I appreciate you guys. Please like the video. Let's get some likes up. Well, still at 0 likes, but yeah, it is what it is. I enjoyed myself. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. My wife made me some dinner. As you can see, you got to see some of my family. Life is life in here. I'm gonna eat some chicken right now and some rice, and enjoy myself this dinner. And I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Peace out, and God bless you.